prepared. That's my addition to it. But above all else, be lucky. I have been. But what about the rest of you? I have two signs in my home. One is in the shower. It says, it's not going to happen the way you think. And the other is over my front door as I go out in the world, and it says, it's not going to happen that way either. I've racked my brain trying to remember what they said to me 40 years ago at my commencement, and for the life of me, I can't remember a word of it. I don't expect for you to remember a word a week from now that I say. I think it was something along the lines of, go get 'em, champ. Or the world is your oyster. That was big in those days. Or you can do anything you want. That's not helpful. But you know what they didn't tell me about? And I want to share this with you today. It's the power of no. You're going to hear it a lot. I did. No, you won't make it. No, you won't make it. No, you're not what we're looking for. No, that was a nice audition, but no. No, next. No. What they couldn't have told me about it was how important they were going to be to me. It energizes you, that word. It gives you something to push against. It will give you ballast. It will give you dimension. It will challenge you to improve in areas that you need to be improving on. But more than anything else, it will force you to define your worth. I had been a working actor for about 15 years, and my agent decided to retire. So we all scrambled to try to find new representation, and there was one agent I really liked a lot, and I thought she liked me. I thought we'd done some really good work together. She put me on the West Wing. So when she landed at a good house, I immediately made an appointment to go and see her and tell her, Gabrielle, I sat down in her office and I said, I've thought about this a lot, like it was my decision. I've thought about this a lot, and I really want to go with you. And she looked at me and she says, well, Michael, we've talked about you here. And no, we don't want you. We feel like we're well represented in your type. I was crushed. I was heartbroken. I was right back on my heels. Any actor will tell you that part of their job is to protect their confidence. And I could see mine lying there on that desk, skinned. And as I got up to leave the room, I thought, am I kidding myself? Should I get out of this business? Am I a bad actor? Or worse yet, am I a mediocre actor? Do I not have a place? I know I don't have representation anymore. And as I was walking out of their offices, I looked down at the receptionist's desk and she had a client list on it. I asked if I could see it for a moment. So I found my type, and I memorized every character actor they had, that they were well represented in my type, and I made a vow by the time I got to the elevator that they would never beat me again, ever. And whenever I walked into an audition, if they were waiting in the waiting room of that audition, my audition got a little hotter, got a little more focused, got a little sharper. They got to where they hated to see me coming. It wasn't because I was more talented. That was not the case. It started with that no. And it wasn't just a no. They had underestimated me. We're sufficiently represented in your type. It was just they had a pedigree and I didn't have it. I didn't appreciate that. So I wish for you all that someone does you the great good service of underestimating you someday. What about mistakes? Make a bunch of those. I can't tell you how much a part of the creative process they are. Dr. Behringer can probably bear me out on this. My favorite quote in the theater is by George Bernard Shaw. He said, every stroke of genius is a lucky misreckoning. It's a mistake. It's part of the creative process. It's part of the scientific process. Pasteurization, we take for granted. That was a happy accident. Anthrax, the cure for that, that was another happy accident. There are a lot of them. They're mistakes, so make some. And if they're big enough, you can apologize. I've had a good deal of experience in that. I can tell you the best time to eat crow is when it's hot. And what a failure. We've almost beaten that notion out of you. I fully expect all of you to succeed. I really do. But fail some. The dictionary defines it as insufficient, inadequate, lacking. Yes, I am. I'm in need of a writer and a director, another actor to relate to. Of my own, I'm insufficient, I'm lacking, I'm inadequate. But put me in collaboration with something. Let me fail a little bit. Let that start the carbonation. Let the bubbles start to come up after that. And a lot of interesting things can happen. It will give you dimension. It'll make you more human. It will make you more compassionate. It will make you more curious, and it will make you more of a liberal art. This next part's a little tricky. My children are here. But it's my experience. And 30-something years ago, in a small apartment in New York, in an even smaller bathroom, on my knees, drunk and desperate and self-loathing and addicted, I prayed to a God I wasn't sure I believed in. Please, don't let me drink anymore, please. And if you can't do that, then kill me now. I started drinking in college. I started drinking because I thought it helped me, fit in. I thought it made it easier to talk to girls. I thought it made me funnier. And if I drank just the right amount, it would close the watchful eye of your bad opinion of me. I was sure you had one. I didn't drink pretty. It led me to drink in run-down dive bars with old-timers that didn't talk. They just drank, or I drank alone. I followed it into the bowels of the Lower East Side of Manhattan or down into Times Square at 3 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't cute and plucky in those days. It was drifters, hustlers, pimps, pushers, homeless, mentally ill. That's what Times Square was. And I went there because I thought that's where I'd end up, and I thought I'd go ahead and try to get comfortable. And one morning at about 3 a.m., I was staggering back, and at about 47th Street and Broadway, there was an old African-American man, and he was sitting on a 5-gallon paint bucket, and he was playing an old beat-up guitar. And I think the motion of it got my attention, maybe the sound. But I stopped, and he glanced up at me as he was playing. And then he stopped playing. And he took a long, hard look at me. He said, "Go home, son. You don't belong down here. There's still a little hope left in you." Man changed my life. Man was my angel. Maybe he was always with me. Maybe he's with me now. I'd share him with you. I hope I get to see him again just to thank him. But you have your own. All I ask is that you listen when they talk to you when you need them. How can this possibly be relevant in a commencement address, for crying out loud? Well, because we're sending you out with all of your promise and all of our hope into the deadliest opioid addiction in the history of our nation. We lost 45,000 people last year. 35 sniffer dogs died just in sniffing it. Died with their handlers right there. Couldn't do anything about it. How powerful must that be? And we'd like to think, or maybe it's easier to think, that it's, my Times Square people, my people on the margin. It's middle-aged, middle-class businessmen with families. It's moms that volunteer for the PTA and sell Camp Stew to pay for Little League uniforms. It's high school athletes that hurt a knee or a lower back and got hooked on Vicodin, or some lovely young woman at a dance party who just tried the wrong thing at the wrong time. We're losing them. If you hear nothing else I say here today, please hear this. If you encounter this in your life, and I'm going to guess that there's somebody sitting with us now that's in pain that we don't know about, or has had a trauma they've never spoken of, or there's a switch in their DNA they cannot see coming. But if you or someone you love, or someone you even like a little bit, hits this problem, know this: addiction's not incurable. There's a solution. There's a community of people out there that have been there, and they're not interested in judging you, but they are interested in helping you. They're easy to find. The hard part is asking for help. It took an angel to get me to do it. Whatever you do, don't try to treat it alone. Why would you try to treat a disease whose very purpose is to isolate you? It's a little bit like tickling the throat of the tiger. It will purr for a while, but eventually it'll reach out and shred you. With the help of those in that community and the answer to a drunken prayer, I've not had a drink or a drug for 33 years. Thank you. I assure you it was mercy, not justice. On a brighter side, what do you take with you from this place? You're stepping off. It's a time you're going to set goals. It's a natural thing to do. I only ask that while you're setting the goal of what you want to achieve, please set the goal of the kind of person that you want to be. It's important to us. My generation needs your generation. We broke some stuff. We need y'all to fix it. And what do you take? Well, you take an education. You've learned to learn. Wherever you go, whatever you do, there's a scroll up here with your name on it. And wherever you are, that is always yours. My mother used to say, they can take anything away from you, son, but they can never take away your education. And the friendships. You'll make other friends in your life, but they won't hold your history quite the way that this group will. I could not have known when I graduated that those college friends would be the grand godparents to my children. They would comfort me when I was ill. They would console me when I failed, and they would encourage me and celebrate my successes. They have put something in your column. Those friends in this place and these people have put something in your column that will help you withstand all those no's. They will roll off you. So to conclude, I would like to say to you what my old mentor, the old character actor Will Gear, said to me. He said, it's not the getting there you'll look back on. It's the road going you'll cherish. So I wish you a good road and a long road, straight in some places and curved in others. It's not going to happen the way you think. Not going to happen that way either. But you're ready for it. Thank you for letting me be with you today.